like to also ask about the current situation a bit, because we understand that under COVID-19, many of the schools are closed and many of the cities are in lockdown. We also want to know like the current situation in NCNAA. Are your teachers still teaching like in school, or you have also adopted like remote teaching or some arrangements for the current situation?
So I retired in 2017. So in June I will have I'm sorry. In June I will have not been in the building for 3 years. But I'm working currently in an educational program, which I kind of still work with some of our students, some of our former students are in my current program. So I do know what the St. Louis public school system is doing. I do know that they ended up doing virtual learning using the same, actually the program that you're using, Microsoft Teams, and instruction was given online. Now, I do not know how, I can't say for sure how the instruction went for our ESOL students. So COVID was a big thing, but also, the new president was a big thing. So we don't have as many students as we had. Now, Chapman probably has about 180 students now, where we had 588. But of course, the high school students are at high school now at Chapman. So probably altogether, there may be 280 kids or something collectively, where we had twice that many. So I'm not sure. I do believe that the high school portion, I do know that they are continuing with the instruction uh, virtually, and the St. Louis Public Schools gave, I think, laptops to students. So whether they were refugee and immigrant students, or regular the general population, whoever, if you were a student in St. Louis Public Schools, you were supposed to be able to get a device and do online learning. Not sure how well that went. I don't know, especially with our brand new um, English language learners who don't know any English yet. I'm not sure how that went. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know, because I did retire.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing some of the knowledge you have about the current situation, Donnie. We just understand it's really a very difficult situation everywhere, and it's very challenging to schools and to educators. So
Yeah.
just at some like background sharing about what we have in the refugee camps. So in one of our refugee camp in Kenya, so students, they are actually learning by radio. So refugee children, because many of them, they don't really have computers or really good internet network to support their virtual learning. So in the Kenya refugee camp, we are currently having some teachers teaching via radio. So the students can just stay in their shelter and turn on the radio, and they can catch up with their learnings and resume their studies. We know that like all these arrangements are not easy, and it won't be as effective as like having the chance to interact with teachers and students directly. But I can see that like most of us are trying to like do whatever we can for the refugees and also for our community. So this
Yes,
would be just like, yeah.
yes. I'd like
Gonna
to
start.
add too. I'd like
Yeah,
to add that some of
sure.
the internet providers in our area actually offered free internet for, I think, 3 months. So that was helpful, because if you get
Yeah.
a device and you don't have internet, it doesn't matter. So, but a lot of students use their phones. So yeah, but they did provide internet in some of the homes free of
Yeah,
charge. Mhm.
that's very cool. Uh, so maybe talking back about the film more. So we also want to hear more from Laurie from your experience with the children, with the refugee students, and how has the whole experience of filming with these refugee students changed you? Do you think like they have brought you some thoughts that you have never like come across of, or would you also explain to us like why would you choose to dedicate your time to support refugees and education and so on?
That's a great question. I'll give a shout out to our executive producer, Peter Tao, who Donnie mentioned. He's first generation Chinese American, and his family were immigrants to St. Louis, and he introduced me to the school and the subject. And so for me, I was learning about refugees while I was making the film. And, I don't think when I started, I was aware of just how vast the issue is. And something like half of all refugees are children, and they're not getting an education. And so I was learning this, while I was making the film. And I also, Donnie mentioned that this was during the election of Donald Trump, and how traumatizing that was for the children to be in a new country with a government that was actively working against them. So just knowing how needed this environment was and how much of a difference it could make, and then just seeing our government just want to end this program, it was very these are the things that I experienced along with the students and learned. But I think I found the kids, no matter what country they were from, whether they spoke a little English or a lot of English, I was very actually inspired by all of them. And I think that's all. I found them all very inspirational because they did have this resilience, and great. They were grateful, and they did want to make something really important out of their lives. And so I found them very inspiring.
And also to Donnie, do you have some like happy moments with your students during your past years teaching in NCNAA, or you can also share with us more about like why you choose to devote your time and have been spending years working for refugees and supporting them?
Well, I think it was, I don't know how to say, it was my purpose. I did not plan to work with refugees and immigrants. I was a counselor in the St. Louis Public Schools, and an opportunity came to be the ESOL counselor for the district. And the first person that actually started the ESOL program was a lady named Nabila Salib, and she needed a counselor. And my former principal had recommended me. She called me, and the next thing I knew, I was an ESOL counselor, and I was meeting all of these beautiful children, beautiful students, families from all over. And I don't know, it just gave me a big awakening about people and working with students and working with mothers and seeing it doesn't matter, where you're from, what culture, what language, what religion, where mothers have a lot in common. We just do. And seeing that commonality and that oneness, and understanding the human side of people, but also being able to embrace the differences, it just taught me a lot. I do not like the word tolerance and tolerate. I don't find that to be a positive relationship if I tolerate you. So that is not my philosophy. I believe that we should, engagement and to embrace. I think if the more we engage with each other and find out and understand, then the more we can embrace each other, our differences and our likenesses. And that is what this journey taught me as a result of being able to work with families from different cultural backgrounds from mine. And, I'm African American. And so it's just, there's a lot going on with that too, as far as so I can really relate to, these students are the oppressed. But when they come here, they're part of the disadvantaged, oppressed people wherever they go as a refugee, whenever, so I just think it's part of my calling to help disadvantage. The position that I hold now is for disadvantaged first generation, low income, students. And so it just seems that even though I'm not always I don't even know in advance that my journey is going to lead me to work with those children, but it always does. And it feels really good. So I just feel like it's my purpose in life. And so working with refugees and immigrants has been just a beautiful part of my life. It made me see things differently. It made me a better person. And it's been beautiful. So yes.
This is so
Yeah.
fascinating to hear. Yeah.
I just want to jump in because I think I said this in my answer too, but just listening to Donnie, I mean, the main thing that I got from working with these kids too was they did enhance my life. It was, I was brought into all these different cultures and met all these different people that I never had the opportunity to. And I think there's this idea that, from different cultures or, don't belong here, but in fact, they make the environment so much more interesting for everybody. And, I'm hoping that that message came across in the film as well and would inspire other communities to want to bring refugees into their communities.
Yeah. We appreciate so much of both of your work in bringing the message out. And this is also our work in UNHCR that we support like the integration of refugees into our communities. And we hope that like we all can embrace the differences, and actually these differences can help like contribute to establishing a really like harmonious and diverse environment that everyone benefits. So this has been also our belief, and we truly appreciate the chance that we have you both to share with us. And for the final question in our little chit chat today would be just for a chance for you both to further share with us if you have any other messages you particularly want to share with the audience during this time with COVID-19, and we also understand is is quite challenging in the States currently. And do you have any special message in relation to refugees or in relation to education in general to share?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anything you want to like just talk more to our audience for our final few minutes we have.
Well, I just hope that seeing the film helps all educators be more inclusive. As you're talking about COVID and virtual instruction, I just, understanding not to forget, the refugees and the immigrants or the poor, not to forget making sure that they have access to health care or I had a situation where a parent was sick and she spoke Spanish. And there, for some reason, the the person that was taking the call didn't speak Spanish. I thought that's ridiculous. So she couldn't explain that she was having the symptoms of COVID. So these are things that we need to take into consideration, that we need to have people that speak different languages in the emergency situation. We need to embrace all of the children, and when you're trying to do your accreditation and school districts are trying to get these great reputations, let's not just focus on those kids who can make you look good. Let's focus on the kids who need help. Let's not leave any kid just hanging. I think that we need to work hard to help all children, to celebrate all cultures and time, and make sure that no one goes down on the ship. That's what I used to say. No one's going to go down on this ship. We're going to all make it. I'm not going to lose anybody. And I think if we all felt like everybody was valuable, everyone is valuable, and you don't want to lose anybody, and that's very important. So I just, the value of people. How do you decide what person is worth this and this? These people are worth this amount. How do you decide how much money you're going to pour into educational programs based on, oh, we're not going to spend that much on refugees? So looking at equity, not equal, but equity, because what one student needs may not be the same, but it's not one size fits all. But we have to look at education as a humane approach, not based on who we think, who we value individually. We're all in this. And I tell all of my students that if I am ill and I need blood and you have the same blood type that I have, I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what culture, your ethnicity, or your hair texture. Nobody cares, because we're really, after we peel off all of these outer, all of the skin and all of that, we look the same. And if we can understand that and realize that every child is worth saving, every child deserves a start. We need to level that playing ground so that students, when they come here, they're already behind. And to come at even think about teenagers coming and having to learn a new language and they're already 16, that is very difficult. So getting educational systems to understand that too. No, they're not reading below, they're not reading 4 grade levels below. They're reading, they don't read English. That's the point. So why are you testing them and saying they can't read, but they don't know the language yet? Let's give them that chance. So just the opportunity and the chance, the sensitivity, the understanding, and helping all children succeed. Because in the end, don't you want them all to be successful? Don't we want a better world? So, and I don't know if I get a chance to speak again, but I was going to tell you that I told my family that I was going to be in Hong Kong today on Sunday. I said, I'm going to be in Hong Kong. And they're like, what? How's? And then they realized I was going to be with you. So I am just glad to be a part. Now I've been to Hong Kong. I can add that on my journey around the world. I never left home, but
so
it's
happy.
such a pleasure. So I'm so pleased to meet you and to know that you're from another culture. And I'm so pleased that you guys are doing the same thing in Hong Kong for refugees. And I feel the same passion. So maybe we'll get to see each other one day and work together or do something together. I would be so excited to do that. But I really, and you're young, and that is great. So you can be on that journey a long time to making sure that all students, refugee and immigrant students, all students get the opportunity to get an education and to have a successful life, whatever that means to them.
Yeah,
Thank
you so much, Donnie. I'm also very looking forward to having you and meeting you in Hong Kong as well. So,
okay.
and for Laurie, do you have any remarks for our audiences?
I think I know that it's a really strange and difficult time between the pandemic, and there's a lot of talk about civil rights in the United States right now. And I'm hoping that there's a shift going on in the world where people are open to hearing our message. And, I felt some resistance when we first finished the film. And I'm hoping that by living through this pandemic and people speaking out about how they feel about injustice and inequality, I'm not sure what the right words are, that there'll be an opening of people's hearts to hear this message that we are trying to communicate in the film. So that's what I thought of when you asked the question. That I'm hoping this is a time to get some of these positive thoughts out there.
Mm-hmm. And I think just to piggyback off of that, I think knowing that this whole movement is in other countries, regarding civil rights, that says something too. We're connecting internationally on different platforms, whether it's refugee and immigrants, whether it's oppression of African Americans, or the unjust killing of male African American men, or whatever. It's good to know that we can connect with another country, another culture, and feel like they are supporting us. So I do. I guess I'm asking your support in Hong Kong as we just try to squash oppression and racism and prejudice worldwide. And I think if we start there, then we won't have these negatives about refugees. We wouldn't. Yeah, I think that's just a big start to. We got to get rid of the things that we have, and then people will be open to everybody.
Yeah. We also see it's really important to embrace the differences and the diversities we have in our community. So we would really love to hear more and talk more to both of you, but we're really sorry that the time is running short right now, but we really thanks a lot for having you both once again in this meeting with us, and to share more of your personal thoughts and experiences. And it has been really a great time to have this conversation with you both. And so I would like to express my thankfulness to both of you, and I hope that every audience in front of your computer seeing this video would also enjoy this conversation and get to learn a lot more about education and refugees from that. And if anyone would like to know more about issues related to refugees or to support our work in UNHCR, please also visit our website, unhcr.org/hk.